Okay, here we are again. Boy, howdy hey, how's it going, everybody? I never start off that way. Yeah, no, we're here chatting again. We're hanging out. What's going on? It's almost past on a Sunday, so we're doing this. Yeah. I mean, no one's here at the moment, but I'll just go ahead and do my greetings. Hey there, everybody. Josh James, or JJ, whichever you feel comfortable with. And, how long has it been since we did one of these? It couldn't have been that long ago. Honestly, if I'm remembering right. Let me see. A few days ago. Not too bad. Could be worse. Could be like all the other times where I say I'm going to be back in a few days and then I don't come back for months on end. Sometimes years. But, yeah. So, anyway. How's everyone doing? We're just kind of going through, the motions. We're doing a stream. We're hanging out. People come by and say hello. That'll be great. What's on the agenda so far? Oh, yes. So one thing I wanted to get out of the way as soon as possible. Laugh A Lot Gamer's Best of Jake Volume 3 is done. So that'll be coming out on Tuesday. So that was nice. You know, it was kind of... I always have, like, bittersweet time doing the edits on those. I think I said during the last stream that it was kind of interesting to be behind the wheel on a third one of those now. Like, it's one of those things that gets crazier every year, going like, oh shit, it's been another year since he's been gone. So, yeah, it's always an interesting thing. It's like you get to spend some time reliving memories, but also you're reliving memories, right? So that's done. It'll be up on Tuesday. And then we've got the general content coming back for lag on the following Friday. Let me just pull up my calendar here. Sorry if I'm sniffly and stuffy. My dog hasn't had a bath in a couple weeks. And I'm starting to pick up whatever she's picked up allergen-wise. Probably pollen. It's just rolling in the grass. But yeah, not Friday the 9th. It's Friday the 16th of June that Road 96 is coming back to lag. So that'll be fun. There was sort of like a time period where I was thinking I could get everything done fairly quickly and just kind of jump right back in and have everything moving again at a regular pace as soon as possible. I was starting to realize I didn't need as much time, but I also kind of allowed myself to take the time to have a break and sort of think about everything. So it's been nice to sort of have that break. But yeah, I mean, as far as scheduling stuff goes, everything is going great. Everything's moving fine. And that'll be uploaded for Tuesday. Yeah, as far as like stream schedule stuff, I did have a bit that I wanted to jump on here. Oh yes, Diablo 4. So I had talked to people about doing some Diablo 4 streaming. I don't know how much I want to lean into that as far as like right now is concerned, because it's me and one of my other central Discord group that currently has access to the game. We were stupid and paid for the early access, so, you know, let it fly, I guess. Me personally, I haven't gotten past the beta content yet, so I'm still catching up. He's like probably goddamn level 60 or whatever by now. But the intention is to hop on and do some Diablo 4 streams at some point. It's just a matter of, okay, so where does that fit in the schedule? How do we get that in there? All that stuff. I also didn't want to start streaming it immediately because of how busy the category is. Like, you want to try and stream to, you know, you want to stream the latest and greatest, but at the same time, it's like, that happened with the Tears of the Kingdom stream. You know, we did like a 3.5-hour stream on there, and I think we had like one, or was it one or two people commenting? I know it was one guy who was on there promoting art. He was on promoting channel art and things like that, and I had like a whole conversation with this guy post stream to sort of be like, hey, I mean, like, it's nice that you're dropping by and self-promoting. It's totally fine, you know. Like, I've never have an issue with self-promotion as long as we're you know, as long as we're clear that the whole, like, push is not, like, a whole big thing, right? You know, drop your link, talk about what you do, but don't be like, hey, I need you to pull this up on your stream and show everybody what you're doing, and I need you to, like, advocate and advertise. It's like, okay, I don't know you. So, A, I don't know what your thing is, and I don't have an experience with you, so I don't know what that looks like. But other than that, I'm, like, totally fine with people dropping self-promotion stuff, as long as it's not, like, linking to, you know, something NS, you know, not safe for work. I was about to say the short version, and then my brain short-circuited, so, but yeah, it really is just about, respecting the space and, you know, not having, high expectations about what that, you know, I guess high expectations of demand. But yeah, I mean, I'd recently been hopping around on Valorant the last couple days, and I've hemmed and hawed about doing Valorant streams specifically because the group that I was ordinarily if I can speak English, the group that I was ordinarily playing with wasn't, I guess, stream savory. Not to say that they were being, like, facetious, malicious, or anything like that. It was just like, okay, well, you know, like, the shit talking is, like, a little crazy. You know, I mean, we all have played games with people like that, or spent time with people like that one time or another, right? Yeah, like I said, we're sort of, like, at this crossroads here, where we're trying to, I say we, where I'm trying to figure out what I want to try on the channel. That was a huge part of the conversation with myself that I had the other night, discussing the future of this channel and what I want to do with it. And honestly, like, as far as generic kind of streams go, I mean, like, I would call myself, like, bare bones, right? Like, I don't think that you can really kind of, I don't know, you can categorize it, right? We're just chatting. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking out my ass now. I'm literally just making conversation with nobody. But, yeah, I do know that as I've been making these detours with my stream and trying to figure out what to do, it's been interesting, and I've met some pretty cool people as I've started to sort of put myself out more and engage a little bit. But you know, kind of, you know, I've met some cool people. I might collaborate with them, I might not. It totally just depends on whether or not I'm still feeling the situation out. Mike42882 says, have you heard about the reptilian cabal? I don't know what that is, but I'm certainly not gonna pull it up without doing a safety check first. Yeah, this is one of those things. They live in the dumbs. QAnon's Capitol rioters was the first thing that came up. It's an NBC News. Nashville bombers, lizard people theory, blah blah blah. Reptilian conspiracy theory. Interestingly enough, I have not heard about this. As far as like conspiracy theories go, I'm not huge on doing the deep dives on conspiracy theories. I understand that there's a level of merit to any conspiracy theory, as in like something set someone off somewhere about that particular subject that made them go, hey, this came up, and it, you know, and brought up this line of questioning, and, you know, start linking things, and either insane coincidences or things that look like some sort of semblance of proof or whatever. I'm totally the type of person that's like, give me facts, give me data, give me, you know, like opinions from all sides to sort of like come to some sort of ultimate conclusion that I make on my own. So I don't, I'm not huge on it. It's all very kind of, to me, it's kind of like, I can do without it, you know, like I don't need to be stressing about, thinking about like all this shit going on in the water and all that shit. They eat all the missing children. Wild. Let me just noticing that this chat is like way off center here. I don't know if that'll fix it. I'll have to wait and see when it comes up again. Yeah, there we go. Looks a little better for sure. God, eyes are so watery from my allergies. And hearing about all those missing children, it's just so upsetting. But yeah. Yeah, honestly, the buddy who I had who passed away a few years ago was super huge on conspiracy theories, and it wasn't like he was super onto conspiracy theories because he was like, I believe in all these conspiracy theories. He was just really huge on sparking a debate, regardless of the heat that followed. He was just huge. He was huge on having conversations about stuff, regardless of whether it had any relevance to the topic at hand. Did I watch the Frazzle Drip video that was going around Telegram? Nope. Now, Telegram is a very old form of communication. If that's a site that I've not heard of before, then okay. Never heard of a Frazzle Drip video. Never heard of that. Hillary and Huma Abedin ate that little girl's face off. That's wild. I don't know what to say about that. You're giving me something, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't, like I say, I try to keep okay. I try to keep towards the less weird side of the internet. You know, like I don't actively go seeking thriller horror articles. Honestly, I mean, like, the kind of stuff you can find on Reddit is insane. It's just like Like, did you hear about this guy who fucking, like, took his grandma and turned her into a kite? It's like, that's fucking insane. I didn't hear about it, and it didn't really add anything to my day to hear about it. So, yeah, I mean, like I say, I just, you know, go on YouTube, hop on here, try the Tor browser to get all the real news. I'm okay. I'm good. Like I said, I'm not seeking, quote unquote real news. I don't even, what is pushed as like fake news either. I just kind of, like I said, I try to see things that are relevant to me and have opinions and thoughts on those things. Obviously it's good to be informed, but there's, like say, I mean, there's stuff that really, there's all kinds of shit happening in the world at all times. I don't really need to know about all of it. You know, it's like, you know, like, what? How often am I gonna run into a situation like that, you know? Like, unless if I'm a police officer, the chances of me running into a scenario where I'm seeing someone with a little, or seeing something with a girl's face ripped off, again, regardless of the validity of the story, the likelihood is very small. You know, I'm, like I say, I mean, you could drop me all these crazy things and I don't know. I'm not shocked to hear about anything because I hear about some insane stuff, but I also don't go looking for it either. So, like I say, I don't know. The Queen didn't die, she retired and went back to the Alpha Draconian star system with the rest of the reptilians. Cool. You know, I got nothing, right? Like, it doesn't, with all the crazy stuff happening in the world, right? Now, it's funny that you mention other world stuff, because this is a conversation I've been happening with friends and family a lot recently, talking about Elseworld stuff, and one of the conversations we'd had was running into, I think it was, okay, brilliant. Princess Diana told you on Telegram, awesome, happy for you. No, but we talked about fuck, goddamn, threw me off. No, we talked about like outer world stuff, kind of discussing, you know, whenever people talk about the existence of life outside of our planet, outside of our solar system, right? The idea is that, like, we know that there are other planets within, I guess, an unreachable distance by our current space travel standards, but we know that there are inhabitable worlds around us. And the topic of discussion came down to, I think, honestly, what brought it on is, like, someone was talking about, like, James Cameron's Avatar and all that, talking about how, you know, honestly, I think the point of the conversation, it totally, it's like, it's not to say, like, yeah, that's like a goddamn wildlife documentary, it was crazy. It was literally, the conversation was, like, other worlds that are they could sustain the life of humans, so who's to say that there isn't some type of humanoid life on these other worlds, or maybe existed at some point, or maybe will exist at some point, right? Like, we got here at some point, right? We evolved. That's a controversial thing to say in some circles, but we You know, at some point we were here. And just as well with the billions of years that have passed since the beginning of the universe, multiverse, whatever level you want to talk about, at the end of the day, there's so many other worlds that could host humanoid life, right? And the conversation was largely about how our vision of alien life always seems to resemble something that currently exists in our world, which makes sense because we don't have any concept of an outer world. We don't have any concept of life beyond what we know. You know, like we look at aliens that look more humanoid. We look at ones that look like some form of animal or some cross between some type of chimera situation. At the end of the day, like I say, at some point in the past or some point in the future, the likelihood of another race that is very similar to our own, very much, it's almost a certainty, but again, we can't say 100% because we don't know what we don't know. But in the past, there was another race that was like us, or very much could be in the future another one or several just like us, right? We don't know without knowing, but at the same time, the scale of our universe is so vast. Of course there's life beyond Earth. Right? It literally makes 0 sense for there not to be. That was the whole point of the conversation. Did you know Michael Jackson is alive and living in Nigeria? He messaged me on Telegram asking for money to release more great music. Hey, happy for you. That's, if that, if that is something to be proud of, I guess. I don't know. Maybe my girlfriend is an alien from Heisenberger. How you doing, Heisenberger? If your girlfriend is an alien, I mean, it's certainly possible. That's another part of the conversation that we had the other day, too. We don't... Just because we don't know about alien life on our world doesn't mean it doesn't exist on our world, right? That's the whole idea that was explored in Men in Black. If you've seen those films, or... are they based off novels? I feel like they probably are. I don't know. I'm uninformed. But not to say your girlfriend is an alien. But at the same time, we don't know what we don't know. And I'm not saying you shouldn't trust your girlfriend because suddenly this idea has popped up that she might be an alien. I could be an alien. You could be an alien. Who knows? Your parents could be aliens, right? You could be like, right? Like Clark Kent was the son of Jor-El. He didn't know he was an alien until people were like, "Yeah, dude, you can fry shit with your eyes," right? We're talking about a fictional character, but at the same time, it's the same idea. Mike said, is she a Biavian Gray or reptilian? And then Heisenberger said, she's a Thixian? Thixian? Did I pronounce that right based off of what you were thinking? There are tons of illegal aliens down the street. Well, I don't want to get into a debate on that. A Thixian? I think I said that. If not, I feel like I was close. Got a little conversation going on in the comments. This is interesting. I don't get this very often. Heisenberger says, I'd hope so. Pretty based. Pretty based mindset. She could be a, any type of fictional alien creature. She think it's based. Oh boy. Got Mike going on about an OnlyFans, and Heisenberg's response is only aliens. I feel like I'm commentating on your guys' conversation now. We've totally gone off the rails here. Only aliens and then my fave. You guys are wild. You guys believe in the multiverse. Honestly, the theoretical physics behind it, this is another one of those things of like, so a belief in something is, a belief in something is sort of like faith in something you can't see, right? It's kind of like religion. We can't see, you know, the whole aspect of that is like, you can't see God. You pray to him with the hopes that you think that he sees. I'm not a religious person, but I went to I went to a school where that was a huge thing. You know, I also sort of live by that whole thing of like, you know, there's certain things that are like indisputably proven and very, okay, so it's the idea that like, if you wiped out all of the science books at some point, those same scientific studies would come back, and if you wiped out all religion, they would be largely similar, but not the same, right? So it's the, you know, belief in something that you can't, like, physically put in front of me is a gesture of faith, whereas knowing something is completely different. I'm the kind of guy who likes to know things as opposed to believe things. Now, that there's some give and take on that, obviously. You know, in regards to other subjects, I won't get into it. There's talking about more like, you know, like something's red and blue. So someone who's colorblind might not see it that way. They believe it to be another color. Me, for someone who has average color, whatever, color perception, average color perception, would see that and go like, no, that's blue. So, you know, kind of like that. At that point, it's like, okay, there's like this fellow who's colorblind sees that as purple. From his perspective, that's purple. But me, with average color perspective, sees that as blue. I think I've killed this horse beyond death. I've resurrected this horse, beat it again, at least 3 times. So, the commander of the Ashtar Alliance said he was in charge of the multiverse for many years. I follow Valiant Thor on Telegram. You guys are just having a wild time over here. Certainly one of the more interesting conversations that have been in stream. Usually everyone's just talking about their day. Well, everybody. The 1 or 2 people that show up. Is that Country Time Lemonade? This here is a, I think it's Mountain Dew Spark, if I'm not mistaken. So, no, I could easily get myself some Country Time lemonade. I don't know what the hell that is. I may have just admitted to something gross. I just drink tap water. Hey, that's fine. I'm spoiled. I've got a, what is it? It's a reverse osmosis filter. I don't know what it's called, but it's like super, super... That Mountain Dew will make you impotent. You should try crack cocaine instead. Hey man, I don't got any romantic prospects in my life at the moment. If I'm impotent, it just means that I have a harder time having fun. I don't know. But yeah. No, the water that I get out of my fridge is like some Gucci water. Not gooch water. Don't be nasty. But fancy water. It's real clean. It also comes from a well, so it's pre-treated before it gets to the house as well. There are times, though, I mean, you say try crack cocaine. There's times where you're, like, so fucking down, and you're just, like, man, like, what I wouldn't do to get a fucking rush of energy right now. And it's like, I'm not encouraging go do crack cocaine, right? I'm saying don't... If you can help it, don't do it. If you're struggling with it, you know. Well, yeah, my well pumps spring water. I mean, if your well's pumping spring water, then it's even better water than mine, because we just get groundwater where I'm at. What are they? Reservoir? No. What are they? It's groundwater. It's like those underwater rivers and stuff. They get pumped out of there. Actually, that reminds me too, because there was like a whole, like a whole protest around that, like a decade ago, over a decade ago. I don't know. I was definitely like younger when that happened, and there was like a whole protest because they were like building landfill sites over top of it, and like, well. One of the big things going on in Canada pretty much at all times is like poor water quality for Indigenous folk, and you know, there's a lot of Indigenous protected land, so there was like a whole issue with that. It didn't end up going through. That landfill site, I believe, got moved, if I'm not mistaken. It's safe. Landfills are good for the environment. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it's called recycling. Okay. It's interesting when you bring up the topic of recycling. So a lot of the stuff in the area that I'm in, putting it back into the earth. Okay. Okay, so there's a sorting station not far from where I am, and all the stuff that goes there all winds up in the exact same spot. So it's one of those, like, we have a recycling program, but how much is actually being recycled and how much of it's just winding up in a pile, right? That's always a part of the conversation. But I live in Canada, so like single-use plastics, I believe, are banned up here, so everyone's using recyclable stuff and transitioning, you know, it's that whole thing of like the garbage paper straws and all that. You just burn it all. There are a lot of countries that do the garbage burning, and I'm curious as to the effectiveness of it. I mean, obviously, it's got to be effective as far as garbage taking up space. You know, like if you were like burning soiled paper and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a geologist or a biologist or any of the things involved. Use tire oil, everything. That's just gonna make your yard look like crap. You just got oily grass. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like, I'm kind of the mindset that there's no real out from it, right? Like, I think it's the, I mean, we have, like, bagged milk still in Canada. All the milk comes in, like, plastic bags, and those go in the garbage, and there was, like, I think, I don't know who I was talking to who said that it was, like, the change from glass bottles, you know, because they had, like, the bottle exchange system back in the day. And the idea was that, you know, you had your bottles of milk, you would get sort of, like, I guess the most, I don't know how old you are, but the most relatable thing to that nowadays is taking your beer cans back to the beer store or wherever you got them from and getting a few cents back per can, and then they can recycle those materials and make new cans, whatever. I don't know what they do with them, but the idea is that with the milk, you would have your milk, you drink it, you take it back, you'd get, I get, because I think you paid if I'm not mistaken, I could be way off, but I think you paid a deposit up front for the bottles, and then you got a bit of that back on the return of the bottles. And if you had, like, because, like, say, an exchange system, the idea is that they're taking your empties and replacing them with full ones. That is some old-timey, like, utopian shit. So, and again, that's like, are you suggesting that having bottled milk is a utopia? Yes, I am, and I'm lactose intolerant. Milk is great for a lot of stuff, so you put it in a pit out back and burn it once a week. We throw can in the pit out back and burn them. Throw cans in the pit out back and burn them. Okay, well, I know that. Well, actually, now that you mention that too, because there was this whole thing about. Honestly, I can actually recall on several occasions. You know what? It's always linked to drinking. It's always linked to people drinking around the fire. I don't think we ever just put them in the fire for no reason. It was one of those, like, well, where do you put it? Throw it in the pit, right? You're camping or you're out back, whatever. It's kind of one of those things, though. I mean, like, I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna sit there and try and have a whole debate about it. I don't know. I know what I know. People know. A lot of people know a lot more than I do. But, yeah. As far as, we are huge on recycling. Well, like I say, recycling, to my knowledge, proper full-on recycling, and not, you know, it all goes back to where it came from. Well, again, realistically, through sorting and all kinds of stuff, I mean, you got to consider when you look at bottles and they say, like, or containers of any kind, and they say, like, 10% recycled whatever, which clearly means that there's a deficit somewhere of stuff not being recycled, right? So, clearly, recycling as an idea is a good idea, right? You don't want to have to keep making stuff constantly. But, you know, I also understand that the logistics of 100% recycled products don't make they don't entirely make sense. They can dig it back up in a million years and use it. Well, okay, so there's a bit of a conundrum with technology, the way it goes, and the changing of materials and the way things are used. Things are built differently, made to work more efficiently. So dig something up in a million years and use it. I mean, if a million years from now, say we've had, like, some cataclysmic event, if there was any use or need for humanity to sort of, like, I don't even honestly know that they would use it, because I would hope that a million years from now, humanity would have advanced well beyond our means, right? I mean, like, the advancements in the last... Yeah, I mean, like, the technological advancements in the last 150 years is insane, right? Like, we went from living outside to living inside to, you know, to forming, like, all this crazy stuff. No, it's regressing back to feudalism as we speak. Well, I mean, in some aspects, no good reptilian cabal. In some aspects, I would agree that we are regressing in a sense. You know, I mean, there was a lot of... I find, like, everything kind of comes and goes in waves, and it depends on the issues at the time, which honestly I don't want to get into. It's not because I'm not willing to have the conversation. I don't want to explore that right now. I literally just had a hour-and-a-half conversation before stream talking about stuff like this, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, regardless of your thoughts on anything, honestly, it's just like, whatever. It's the kind of thing that... It's the kind of conversations that, they pull the strings of the global pedo ring. So okay, I could make a guess as to what you mean by the global pedo ring. Are you referring to, like, without trolling now, are you referring to the stuff with the church? I don't know, I may have just stepped on a landmine by saying that, but honestly, it's like, in my head, I'm thinking, like, what makes the most sense when someone refers to the global pedo ring? They are involved as well. Okay, well, I accept your half-jokey answer. Okay. The Khazarian Mafia. Like I said, I don't know. I have no idea. Like I say, I'm probably... I don't know. Anyway. Like I said, what I was saying before about wild shit and not knowing what to say, because it's like, I don't know. What's real? What's trolling? Who knows? I think we stumped him with truth bombs. Hey, I've said many a times since you got here that I don't know a lot. There's plenty of people who know a lot more than me. I know what I know, and I'll, you know, like, if you put stuff in front of me, obviously not some malicious shit, you know, whatever. That's why I'm trying to help me learn. Well, like I say, if at the end of the day I feel like I've gained some valuable knowledge, then I can appreciate that. Honestly, for the past 45 minutes, and probably about like the 40 odd minutes or 35 minutes that you've been here, I've either possibly learned or not learned a lot. So, I don't know. You don't want me to end up in the Canadian version of... Was it FEMA camp? FEMA camp? I don't know. See, that's a term I'm unfamiliar with, so I have no idea. I don't know what that means. I'd say about 90% of the stuff that you've said thus far is like, do I want that in my search history? It's all so far, like, you don't know what it's called in Canada? I don't know what it would be called either. I don't even know what that is. Like I said, I hesitate to search 90% of what you've brought up. And purely from a, like, again, it's like, I don't know that I want that in my search history. I don't know what it is. I don't have an indication. I don't have someone to validate or invalidate any of it. Probably not. Blackface Trudeau will have sent to the, have you sent to the gulag. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Just for looking it up. Well, they did, so they passed a bill up here recently to control the information that is being fed to Canadian citizens, like news feeds. And again, I understand the concept. I don't necessarily agree with the execution. I'm kind of like... The whole idea is, like, not to have so many people pumping out bullshit, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but that also means controlled media, right? It's literally the definition of the government controlling the media. And there's a whole conversation behind that. And, like I say, I mean, I don't know if I said it before, but again, it's like I don't really go seeking that type of media anyway. Like, I don't really...
What do you mean you're at soup?
As far as being informed goes, you know, this is my thing. I sort of like, I stay in my lane unless if I feel like, you know, it's like you know, you meet people all the time and you're going to be at, you know, you're going to run into scenarios where you're going to have to know certain things, right? You know, you just kind of... There's that saying, like live and learn, right? I haven't lived through a scenario where I needed particular set of information, so I don't know it. I often run into that scenario where I literally just don't know something, and I get educated on it later. You know, you can hand me like a binder of stuff and be like, these are things you need to know, and I could go, well, do I need to know, or is that like I need to know to, I guess, like, have equal footing in conversation with you, right? You know, like, on an individual level, if I need to know something, I would prefer someone sort of, like, lay that out on the table up front, you know? Like, I would rather they kind of present me with the necessary information when it's necessary. Other than that, I don't know, like, it's not a pressing matter in my everyday life, so if I don't know it, then I don't know it, you know, and like, I can only say so many times, like, I don't know what I don't know, right? So you go about, and you go from there. I did notice that you followed, by the way. I appreciate it. Is that Canadian mayor still smoking crack in his office? No, he died a long time ago. You're talking about Rob Ford. Yeah, he passed away some time ago. He passed away. His brother Doug Ford is the current premier of Ontario, which means he's like the governor of Ontario. And he's pretty wild. I mean, he got in on like this whole premise of like he got a lot of the okay. I shouldn't say he got all of his votes off of this concept, but I know that in my area, the big thing was he was going around like buck a beer. So he was going around like Canadian beer being brewed and sold for like $1 or something like that, and it was this crazy thing, and people were like, oh my god, gotta get him in there. Now it's sort of like a 50-50 split between the people who are for what's going on right now, because the big thing right now is healthcare privatization. It's the big thing that Ontario, Canada, is dealing with right now, is that he's trying to, so like you say, I'm sure you're probably aware, but if you're not, Canadian healthcare is, I would say, mostly free. The idea is that you have your health card. There's no like real concept of health insurance. If you go to the hospital, you have an ailment, you see a doctor, they prescribe you medication. The medication side is sort of where it's more privatized. It always sort of has been. Yeah, that's why they come here and pay cash. So yeah, this is the conversation that's happening right now. So they want to pay money into privatized healthcare, but so they say that they want to have the public healthcare system coincide with the private healthcare system and have people have access to privatized healthcare purely for the sake of better quality care and shorter wait times. The only problem is that the only problem with that is that with any service, it comes down to, you know, like, because again, privatized healthcare as a concept, right? If the idea is that you pay X amount of dollars, you get like a good service or whatever, like you get good quality medical treatment. Everyone wants great quality medical treatment. There's no argument on that front, right? Everybody wants good access to healthcare, wants to be able to, you know, not have like a cramp in their stomach and say, no, I'll just sleep it off and find out that there's a tumor there, like when it's too late. No one wants that. Can you not pay into the system and use private? That is the problem. So I think that's the idea that they're trying to change. So the idea is that they're trying to, because one of the things that they had happen in Ontario was that, and again, it's kind of you pay for other people. I mean, honestly, the tax system up here, honestly, like, it's so out of whack. I honestly, like, there is such a goddamn trickle system for, like, the money distribution and how it's used in the country. And honestly, it's like, I don't know enough about it. I know what has affected me personally, and I know what I would like to not see. You know, like, what I pay in taxes every year is not insane, but I also don't know any different than the taxes that I've been paying. You know, the idea is that, you know, like, it's that sort of, like, it's the conversation piece that always comes up all the time. It's the idea of, like, socialism, right? Everyone pays a bit in, and then everyone gets a bit out of it. The public healthcare system, like, say they take a bit off the taxes, they feed it in the public healthcare system. There's not as much money involved, so obviously the quality of the healthcare, depending on where you are in the country, for sure too, is also another factor. Like, I know the town I live in, like, unanimously you can ask just about anybody and they don't want to go to the local hospital. There's just been so many issues. Like, my half sister, she suffers from cerebral palsy as a result of inaction that was taken at the hospital in town. And, like, there was, like, a whole lawsuit involved, and it was crazy. She's well taken care of now, but it was a long time. Hey, what's going on, Ben? I saw you here show up in the chat earlier. Sorry, just, where was I? But yeah, the local hospital, there's a whole thing with that. It was like a 10-year battle, payout, huge for malpractice. They did. So I've split family. So I've got father and a stepmom, mom and a stepdad. She's half sister, so, like, my dad is... Kid was going for a nap, so I can actually get to listen now. Awesome. Yeah, so there was a whole lawsuit. I think it must have been, like, God, like 9 or 10 years they were battling for that to be taken care of. Like, starting the process, gathering evidence, trials, all that, constant headache, just hemorrhaging money left and right. She's set for life now. She got a payout that is, like, they set her up. So the house, I believe, is in her name. They stripped it back, did tons of renos as far as accessibility. So she's got, like, ramps and elevators in that house. That is her house. She has, like, medical assistance. She has a nurse that is paid for. You know, like, personal help. She has, like, they got her a I don't know what they are. I don't know what it's called, but think of, like, the thing that Stephen Hawking had, right? The computer that he can sort of, like, look and sort of, like, talk from his computer. She has that, like, a newer version, obviously. She's well taken care of now, but that was a result of the, I guess you could call it the local healthcare system. The care that is available from our public healthcare system, even a half an hour, 50 minutes away, is substantially better than what we have just 10 minutes away. It's actually absurd that there is such a leap in quality. We understand, right? Because everybody wants to be where the money is, and the money is in the cities. But I think that's sort of where we're coming into the conversation of, like, small towns like mine, where they say, like, supporting private clinics, this idea of private clinics being a good thing because you would have better quality care, and like, you wouldn't have to worry about your kid getting cerebral palsy from some idiot leaving, because, like, I think my stepmom was in labor for, like, 5 days. And, like, she came out blue, and they had to fly her, like, an hour or some odd away to keep her alive. that was, like, as far as, like, a start to coming into this world, that is, like, the most insane, nonsensical shit that could possibly happen, right? Like, starting your life not breathing, needing a machine-assisted care for, like, I think she was in there for months. Like, she was transferred to the, so there's a children's hospital in Toronto called Sick Kids, and I think that's where she received most of her care. And she, you know, from there they got great care, and of course it was like, why were you in labor for 5 days? Why did no one suggest a C-section? Did you ask for a C-section? Like, and of course, you know, it's like, yeah, of course, ask for a C-section. You know, it's just like, well, we don't have a doctor in who can do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so much that went wrong in that, like, in that series of events. It shouldn't have been a thing that could have happened. It's like, you're doctors, you understand what happens if this person does not receive care, or if this, you know, like, this child is not fucking birthed correctly. Like, you fucking moron, right? So, gotta run, have to put the wife to bed as past her bedtime. Hey, well. Anyway, it was good to have you around. You guys had you and Heisenbooger there had a couple of interesting back and forths, and we got some productive conversation put out there. So, yeah, no, it was a pleasure. Take care. Have a good night. If I don't see you back, have a good night. But yeah, just to say, like, the conversation too. As this all started, the debate about public healthcare access and stuff like that, government official is now following. The idea is that with like I say, with public access healthcare, right? It definitely makes a lot of sense to have public healthcare not lose from this system, and I do also understand the desire to have privatized healthcare, better healthcare in general. I think that the issue lies in the fact that if you do have such a heavily privatized healthcare system, you know, like you could talk about, like, national debt and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, this country, Canada, we're running on, like, such a huge deficit. We have been running on a massive deficit for such a long time. Honestly, like, it's insane. I don't, you know, like, I do think that there is a need for public programs. It's just, like, where does the money come from, right? Because, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is the thing. I consider myself politically moderate from the standpoint of, like, I try to take from everyone's perspective to inform how I see it. So it's like I said, it's kind of a weird, interesting dynamic, but anyway. But it seems like we're past that. But I saw that I feel like I addressed it, but government official, welcome to the chat. Cup footy emote. But yeah, I like to say, whenever people ask me about political stuff, I have these conversations constantly, and I don't, obviously, I'm totally open to having the conversation. I don't ever feel like I know enough to, like, walk into, like, it's the kind of thing, like, it wouldn't happen, right? Like, no one would be like, hey, I want to talk to you about, or, like, I want to interview you on your thoughts of this, that, or the other thing. You know, it's like public survey would be, like, the only way that would happen. But I just don't, like I said, I don't know. it is what it is. Anyway, we've talked a whole lot in circles about that, so I guess we'll move on. How do you move on from that, though, eh? Crazy. You just, what a wild way to start streaming. You take a few days off, you come back, you get trolled a little bit, and then you get dragged down the rabbit hole of government discussion and like policy discussion. And how does it even happen? I don't know. We're just hanging out here, guys. I wasn't meaning to spark any kind of debate, but I am always willing to have a conversation, civil conversation, I should say. I mean, like say, I mean, like, unless if you throw something out there that it's like so wild that it's like, come on now. But luckily, I don't run into that situation very often. I can only think of like one time in like, because I started streaming. I made my Twitch account in 2016. Whenever I started streaming is completely up for debate within that time frame from then to now. But you know, I don't believe I've genuinely run into an issue where I've had like a full-on argument with anybody, and it's just like my personality. It's, you know, I don't care. Like I'm passionate about like creative avenue and like creativity. I'm passionate about the music I like. I'm passionate about the movies I like, the games I like, what have you, shows. I'm not like super huge into sports, but I totally would like sit down and like, okay, so that's a funny thing too. I sat down a couple weeks ago and watched one of the Toronto Maple Leaf hockey games, and of course I have no fucking idea what's going on. I'm not following the season or anything. All I know is that the Toronto Maple Leafs don't win. So and that they, you know, everyone was excited to see them make it into the playoffs, and I know that my buddies were pissed of what was happening. I felt the energy in the room, and I was just like, you know, like everyone was like screaming at the TV. I was kind of laughing because of how like heated they were getting. So it's like, it's totally like, I'm such a vibe-based person. Like, I'm the type of person that if you set me... Okay, so my buddy used to call me a introverted extrovert. His reasoning for that was that if you stick me in the room with a bunch of other extroverts, then I can sort of hold my own and thrive in a conversation. If you stick me in a room with another introvert, chances are we're not going to talk very much. We're going to sit there and probably stare at our phones and be like, how you doing? Not too bad. Anyway, see ya, you know. Like, it's not gonna be a productive conversation by any means. And it's not for lack of trying. Honestly, I love talking to people, but at the same time, people are difficult, and you're not gonna agree with everyone on everything, right? So you can only you pick your battles, and you pick your you know, it is what it is. Kind of a moot point, really. But we're all having fun. Oh, geez. I just saw one of the Discord servers that I was in say something pretty wild. Not wild as in, like, it's so outlandish, I can't believe it. It was just like a, oh, okay. I don't know what they're talking about, and I don't care to know. We'll just let that be what it is. But, yeah, honestly, for anyone who has joined within the last hour, if you're here, so it's been great so far. I'll keep this up for a little while longer. If we're sitting here in dead silence with nothing to talk about, for a certain amount of time, I'll probably end the stream. I mean, I don't want to force anything. I don't want to sit here doing nothing. Especially during a chat stream. I mean, like, hell, what do you do? But I guess I could talk a little bit on my experience with Diablo 4. So because I did mean to bring that up a little bit. I did start to talk about it before we started to talk about healthcare. So we just like hard left turn into talking about government policy and all that shit. But yeah, so like Diablo 4 came out for early access. I want to say it was Friday, or was it? I think it was Thursday, 7 p.m. where I was. Either way, I jumped on there, and I think I started playing the Necromancer, which I played during the beta, and I played extensively in Diablo 2 and in Diablo 3. And so far, I've had a couple people have asked me, not on stream, of course, but just sort of ask me how I feel about it. Honestly, my best description of Diablo 4 is like Diablo 2 with upgrades, I guess. That might sound like the most one-note thing, and that might be upsetting to some people. I just know that, like, aesthetically, it's got that dark, bloody look that the second one had. It's, you know, it's got more of a, definitely more of a hardcore focus than Diablo 3 did. You know, Diablo 3 was, I'm pretty sure it was heavily criticized up front when it came out for being more user-friendly, which it's one of those things, it's like, you know, you either agree with that sentiment or you don't. I know that I had played Diablo 2 very little growing up when it was, I guess, more publicly available. Not to say when it first came out. I don't even think I had a PC capable of running it when it first came out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because, like, everything gameplay-wise, aesthetic-wise, I'm having fun with it. I know thus far where I'm at, I certainly haven't passed any of the content that was available during the early access beta, the open beta, or the server slam, which was all the same content. So I think you got, like, what was it, like, level 25, I think they capped you at, and they stopped you after, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the, I don't know what quest it was, and I just played it. I don't know. I guess that's spoiler territory. I guess the game's still not fully released, so I won't say what it was if you haven't played it. All you need to know is that if you're looking forward to Diablo 4 for the same reasons that you liked Diablo 3, I think that there's certainly a game there for you. Do I think that it'll challenge you a little bit more than Diablo 3? That's purely up to you as a player. I don't know. I just know that, to me personally, Diablo 4 feels like much more of a hardcore RPG, more traditional PC RPG than, like, yeah, it definitely gives me more Diablo 2 than 3 vibes. It's always it's always fun for me to sit down and play Diablo, and I know that, like, Diablo, Activision Blizzard, there's so much criticism flying left and right. I'm just having fun. I'm just vibing with it. I'm liking the game so far. It hasn't... There's only been like 1 or 2 times where I've been so frustrated that I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you know? Like, but very infrequently. But that's... Yeah, I guess we didn't really talk much about it, honestly. I don't have a whole lot on it. I haven't explored enough. I certainly am nowhere near PvP. Nowhere near... I don't know how much longer I have until I unlock my mount. I know that they gave us access to a bunch of stuff, cosmetic items for pre-orders and things like that. I don't know. I don't believe I've received access to any of those things. I don't even know if I've received access to like the beta titles and the beta items that we were supposed to get. And I don't know if they're holding off on that until release day. Like the early access is just basically like, okay, like, have fun, we'll give you your stuff when we start the regular season. I don't know. I just know that what I've played was fun. To me. So, anyway. And recently... Yeah, honestly, I don't even know. I haven't done a whole lot of gaming over the last little bit. Mostly, it's been like mostly kind of like gaming with friends in the sense of like... So I talked a little bit at the start of the stream about how I'd been playing Valorant and meeting a few people on there. And, like, I got connected on a couple of Discord servers. I played a bit of Overwatch recently. Like, you know, there's certain... there's certain, there's certain things about, like, the FPS landscape that has always sort of brought me in, from a, I guess from, like, the perspective of, like, intrigue. I wouldn't say I'm great at FPS games. I would say that I feel competent on them. I know that honestly, probably my most competent shooters are probably Call of Duty, specifically the Black Ops games. That's just sort of like what I came up on as far as like shooters are concerned. I mean, like I grew up on like Halo, and you know, all those kids kind of transitioned into Call of Duty after Halo 3 and Halo Reach. So you can kind of get a sense of where my experience lies. It's sort of more of like the arcadey shooters, things like that. So like when games like Overwatch and Valorant come out, I'm certainly interested to check them out. But from a competitive standpoint, I mean, I hate competitive. I mean, I used to do the when I was in, I think I was in 10th grade in high school. It's a while ago now. But, you know, like I used to drop in to clan matches and things like that. Like one of the guys I was in, one of my buddies from school ran a clan, and I was a part of that briefly until he was again, he was in charge of it, but he wasn't really like... It's one of those things where it's like he was in charge, but he didn't feel in charge. So people just were kind of like left to their devices and talked how they wanted to talk to people, and were, you know, did what they want to do. So there wasn't any real like structure. I think it was all just about like the phase craze. Because I remember sniping a lot in that game. I wouldn't definitely not say that I compare skill-wise to anything that I was doing back then. Just purely from like a time input standpoint, I guess. Like I certainly don't put the same amount of time into games, especially shooters, that I did back in the day. But yeah, I mean, you know, everyone has their games that they play. And it's funny, it's like I don't even particularly like playing Call of Duty anymore. It's just one of those things that, like, you have the odd friend that's like, hey man, you getting the new one? And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I guess, you know? it's kind of in the same way that I have like a buddy who plays NHL. I have like I have another friend who's like super into NBA, and it's like, you know, get the new one. And like I think like sports games, it's one of those like, yeah, sure, if they're giving one away for free, or if it's like $5 or something, you know, like something that I'm gonna probably play like the 1 or 2 times. It's like I'm not gonna spend full price, which like up in Canada it's like $80 or $90 for a full price game. It's just too much money, especially for something you don't want, right? Or even if it's not a matter of not wanting it, a matter of like I don't care enough about it to have it, you know? It's not like I need the new NHL, like it's just not something that comes out of my mouth, really, except ironically. But yeah. What with where we're at now, I think that we're gonna call it here for tonight. Again, around the same time that we ended last time. It's been about almost an hour and a half, so it's like we're just like less than 9 minutes short. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting conversation. We had some talks. We hung out for a bit. I want to get in the habit of doing these hangout streams more frequently, just because it helps. It helps to have a platform to talk about stuff, which honestly, like, I used to do commentary videos on my solo channel. Links down below if you want to check it out. It's the one labeled My Channel. I used to do commentary about like new releases and stuff like that, and like current events, and I've been missing having that around, so it's been nice to have these hangout streams and just talk to people about whatever. So yeah, I mean, like say, if that intrigues you, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please consider following. If you didn't like it, that's cool too. You know, there's certainly no obligation to follow ever. It's just one of those things. If you do, it's greatly appreciated. As far as when I will stream next, like say, I'm not going to make any promises. I just know that as I said, I want to stream more, but I don't want to I certainly don't want to set up a schedule yet, or set up any expectation that I'll be like streaming every day or anything like that. I'll stream when I stream. Hopefully it's close by. I mean, I did stream 3 days ago. It was very similar to this one. We were just hanging out talking. So like I said, if the next one I'm playing something, cool. If not, and we're just doing this again, cool. But yeah. Anyway, guys, take care. I hope you had a good time. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care and have a wonderful night.